Today is all about trolling. We head to the waters off the Gold Coast to chase pelagics on troll lures before heading south to troll up a few lake trout. Trolling for offshore predators is a popular pastime, but with a little technique you'll find your results improve dramatically. We join skipper Rod Walmsley and find out exactly how he scores fish regularly for his clients. It's early morning on a summer's day, fishing with a really good mate of mine today, Mr. Rod Walmsley, who's the skipper of RU for Real Charters. It's pelagic season at the moment, which is an exciting time of year because the currents bring the whole food chain right past your doorstep, and there's all manner of bait and the rest of the food chain, big toothy critters out there chasing them all over the place, and we're going to hopefully have some fun with them today. And one technique we want to start using is to actually get some live baits down to where the fish might be. In a short while you'll probably see how many boats are sitting around us having a fish, and what that means is that the fish tend to get a little bit spooky. They get pushed down somewhat, and that means they don't necessarily stop eating. They'll keep eating, but they're going to be a little bit further down in the water than we might expect to see them on days when there's less pressure. One way to get around that is to actually get baits down to them in a controlled manner, and we're doing that in the use of down rigging.
So basically what we're going to be doing is targeting mackerel.
Yep.
They generally slash when they feed, so they'll knock the tail off their prey, take the propeller off, as they say, and then come back and pick up the pieces. So what we do is we use a tandem rig where we use a small single hook on the front, and that secures the bait, sort of in the nose,
yep,
through the top of the jaw, through the nostrils, and then we use two trebles straight down the back, and those trebles basically are generally what catch the fish.
Okay.
So we'll secure those down the side of the body as far back as possible on the bait,
yep,
and then slow troll the fish. But sort of what you want to ensure is that the fish, when you rig up the bait, that the bait's not pulled tight or skew or off center,
yep,
so that the bait, it'll swim better, it'll swim straighter, it'll stay alive longer, and give the fish just that bit of more time to grab it.
And so I guess for people at home watching it, one thing to think about then is the length of your rig. You don't want to have rigs that are too short or too long for the size of the bait
For
that
the
you're going
bait,
to be using.
yes. So basically you make up a few different size rigs and then make them to the
Yep,
size bait you're using.
Yep. And the idea there is to nose hook it, keep it swimming straight and alive.
That's right, yep.
And then have hooks situated down the body of the fish so that when they do, as you said, they come and take the propeller off,
Yep,
you're going to get tail biters.
Yep.
You're going to make sure you've got some form of hook point to catch those fish. Yep. You're the boss, mate, so it's
we'll get one out of the tank and get it in the water.
As you start the boat in motion now, we're going to let this guy about 30 metres back.
Yep.
I'm going to hook it up to a release catch on the downrigger. The downrigger's got a big bomb. We're then going to drop it down. You're going to be watching a sounder up on the fly deck. That's and telling me exactly which depth you want to get it to, where the bait and where the fish are. We've got a counter on our downrigger that's going to tell us exactly what depth we put it to. We're going to get it right in the fish, and we're going to slow trawl through them and see what happens.
Basically, with this vessel, we've got two downriggers, which is great. So we'll put one down at say 35 feet. Similarly, as you said, get the boat going before you drop your ball back.
Yes.
That just saves you letting that wire find its way into your propellers or motors. So once you're going ahead, let that downrigger back to the desired depth, 35 feet. We're going to start with on that one, and then the other one we'll start with at say 15 feet, and that's basically going to be the technique for the morning.
Beautiful. Now I've been excited listening to you tell me about all the fish that are here at the moment. So I think we've yapped enough. Time to get downriggers down. Let's go and catch one.
Fish.
All right. Downriggers are getting pretty flash these days. We're 35 foot on the dot. It's electrically driven. It tells me exactly what depth that bait's down at. Not tied the old day. I used to have the old manual ones, winding up, winding down. How easy is it these days? What a lovely unit. That bait's down at 35 feet now. It's 30 metres behind the boat. Rod's going to hopefully put us into the zone where the bait and the fish are, and we can see what happens. You'll notice we've got that rod loaded up. It's got quite a nice bend in it. And the benefit of doing that is that we've got plenty of tension down to the bomb. So the moment something does go and eat that bait and pulls it out of that release catch, we've got as much continuity of the tension with the fish throughout that strike. The beauty of one of these electric downriggers is at the moment we do get that hit, it's got a little grey button on it which allows me to both get the downrigger bomb to the depth I want, but if we do get a strike, with one little simple flick up, it brings that downrigger bomb straight back up to surface. So it means that while I'm fighting a fish or while Rod's fighting a fish, we're not worried about manually cranking up bombs to get them out of the way of lines potentially getting tangled in them. A nice little flick of the switch, away we go. Fishing's just getting too easy these days.
We've got the reef mapped out, and I'm just basically, as you can see with the contours, just going around the outside edge of the reef, slow trolling those liveys. Just kicking the motor in and out of gear so that we don't put too much pressure on the fish. But you can see there's our one downrigger ball sitting there. That's the heavy one sitting at 35 feet in the midwater. The other one is on the other side of the vessel, which is on the other side of the transducer beam, so we just can't see it, but you'll see it on the odd occasion sitting up here.
Going deep, Rod. Here he comes, here he comes. Here he comes.
Take your time, Nige. Take your time. Just come around the back, mate. We'll just bring him up the duck board.
Your way, right on.
Yeah.
Comes around. It's pretty well done. Nice. There's a schoolie for you.
Well, that's taken a while.
We've had to work hard for that, but that being said, there's a lot of boats trawling around this area. I haven't seen any of them catch a fish.
That's right.
There's a mixture of hard body lures going on, baits being drifted, guys burling away. Rod's persisted at it. He's seen a few little patches of bait on the sound, and we experimented with bringing them up close to the surface and also getting one down deep. Now we put this down to 50 foot. Been down there, what, about 5 minutes, Rod? And we picked a fish up. So just working that baits down to different levels, seeing what the sound is doing, making sure that we get baits in front of these guys as much as possible. And we've got one fish in the boat. That's all right. It's a start.
It's a start.
Now you can see why these guys are such good predators. They've got the beautiful bullet-shaped body, big tail. They're made for speed. Absolute precision, pointy face.
Oh,
They're made for hunting, and they've got an absolute mouthful of razor-sharp teeth. They're part of what we call the razor gang. Those teeth actually mesh together, which means that if you don't have some form of protection in the way, you very quickly find you're winding back empty lines. No lures, no hooks, no nothing. So they're very good at chomping on fingers as well. We're keeping the pointy end way away from us. But it just means you've got to think about things like wire, metal lures, things that will keep those teeth away from your line. Lovely on the table, especially when they're about this size. Got a nice little school mackerel now destined for the barbecue at home.
A max tuna-a-thon.
What it is.
I had to strike, didn't I?
What did you strike for?
You can't even wind the lure back into the boat and a mac tuna jumps on. Why didn't you wind this lure in, no?
I was hoping you'd catch something on the way back.
You know what they say? If you can't beat them, join them. What's the story? Why do you take so long to get yours in?
Yours got so bored it just came to the boat. It was just around the boat.
Oh, skipper gets a go. It's been a bit of a tricky morning this morning. Started off, really struggled to get live bait. And one mackerel for the morning. So we ended up coming up to 9 Mile, having a crack to see if we can't get a few yellowfin or maybe a wahoo. Oh, hello. What have we got here? Yellowfin.
Oh, yellowfin.
Hey.
That's the go.
Don't fall off. Hoppa.
Hey! That's
Hey.
what we like.
Awesome.
Nice fish, mate. Well, that's a lovely little table affair from Andy.
yeah.
I'm particularly partial to that little yellowfin about that size. It's a lovely little steak on the barbecue.
I'll make a deal with you. I'll go the mackerel and you can go the yellowfin out there. Well, we've got another 20 or 30 minutes of trawling. We might get lucky
Never
and get
know.
a couple each.
Yeah.
We'll chuck him in a slurry.
Yep, I got colour.
See there?
Oh yeah, it's actually another yellowfin.
Oh, here we
right.
go. We might stick, we'll stick a gaff in this one, I reckon.
We were just calling it for a mac tuna, and there you go. Another one. Another bit of yellowfin for the barbecue. Lovely. Rod's had the thinking cap on while he's been sitting up on the fly bridge, and he's worked out that by slightly dropping back that trawling speed and keeping lures slightly closer to the bait, we're fishing with Halco laser pros, and they're in about that 3 metre diving range. We're trawling at about 6 knots, and we're keeping them about 15 to 20 metres behind the boat, no further than that. And we're starting to catch a few yellowfin tuna, so a little bit of a pattern there. We went from catching the mac tuna at every speed and on lures that were a long way away from the boat, coming closer, slightly different idea, change in pattern, and away we go. We're getting some fish, which now, then Rod might get out of the bad books. He might be able to feed the boss tonight. Not getting the bump. I'm getting the odd head shake.
Oh, we can only hope.
It's amazing with 2 guys trawling with 4 outfits, just taking a real effort of playing as a team and getting rods in and out and talking through possibly where fish are, the speed to go, how far out we've got lures behind the boat, what speed we're going. And slowly, we've worked our way through a lot of mac tuna and the odd different species of fish, and we're starting to put a few runs on the board, which is kind of neat. I don't know what this one is at the moment. He looks long, mate. It's a wahoo. It's a wahoo. It's a wahoo.
That's a pity, eh? We could have had a double. One fell off.
Let's get this one in the way.
Yeah, awesome. Just keep him coming. Just put that line on. Put that line on. Drop your tip. That's it. Just keep him coming. He'll just keep coming. Yeah, that's it.
Those head shakes, they're like Spaniards, aren't they?
Ooh. Just swing him around. Oh, he's only just hooked in the lip.
Woohoo! All right.
Yeah.
Look at that. Now,
Mate,
Mr. Wormsley,
put it there.
you're the
We
brain.
put it there.
You have
Hard
thought
yards.
that fish out. You worked these lines and worked out the speed we're going, the depth that we're trawling. We've kept the boat in motion the whole day.
That's
We've either
right.
trolled with live baits. We've trolled with a range of just about every lure you've got in your box, I think, from hex heads to pushers to max
mate.
high-speed lures to Halco divers and different ranges. And we've come across quite a few species of fish. We had dredged through about 4,000 mac tuna, but that was good fun as well.
And eventually there.
And there you go, one of the speedsters of the ocean. A lot of guys spend a lot of time fishing for these, and that's what I'm pretty excited about.
I'm pretty happy. We might get a still photo of that for you.
There you go,
So that's what he looks like.
the wahoo, member of the Razor Gang. And what a lovely fish. Mate, there you go. The old the Halco does it again. They're a bit of a favourite of yours. I spent a lot of time trawling with the Halcos as well. And today that 2 metre bib, 8 knots, trawl behind the boat. Started trolling live baits down in 30 to 50 foot of water.
Yeah.
We've come up to the top. We've gone down to a subsurface lure, and we played with the pelagics off your home waters of the Tweed. We may get this one into the ice box.
I reckon that's
I think
the go.
your boss is happy with you now. You've probably fed the boss.
I've
Rod's
done. My
got a
job's
job
done.
again tomorrow.
My job's done.
Bill and a Melbourne young gun hit the waters of Lake Eildon and troll for trout hunting in open waters. Their approach to trolling for pelagic trout is definitely effective.
A normal day trout fishing on the lake is getting up at about 6 o'clock, taking my mates out, fishing till about 10 o'clock. Then we come back in and then go out again at 4 o'clock till dark. The thing that keeps me going fishing again and again is I really enjoy it. Get to take your mates out, teach them new things, and yeah, just love to go out and catch some good fish.
But I reckon we'll have a bit of a troll out on these roach grounds where they were schooled up yesterday.
Yep.
And then maybe something a bit different, go in the shallower water, just see if we can't get a fish or two on soft plastics.
Yep.
Yeah.
Should be good. The reason I wanted to take Bill out for a fish was to show him how we'd been catching these roaching trout at Lake Eildon, and I also thought I could teach an old man some new tricks. Probably about the average. Hit it before you put it back in the holder. Look at him, roach, he just spat out.
Yeah. We'll go grab that in a minute. We'll grab a net.
Yeah.
It's a good fish. He's all right, mate.
Yeah.
Have a look at this, Zach. When you bring it in, you said it threw up a roach. We've gone round and picked it up. It's floating in the water.
Yep.
Now that's fresh as,
Yep.
that roach. And it's a big, big bait. Have a look at that. That roach came out of this fish.
Yep.
Yeah. And I tell you what, if they're eating fish like this, they're going to be twice this size in 3 months.
Yeah.
That's a big bit of protein. Interesting to see what sort of lure you can match to match this sort of fish.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously the stump jumper, the white stump jumper, well,
Yep.
probably imitates that white flank on the roach. But that's big.
A good plan of attack for trout when they're roaching is trolling with lures, usually hard body lures, as you can cover a lot of ground doing this and use a lot of variety of lures, and you can take your mates out and have a lot of fun with it. My advice for anglers to catch trout that are roaching is to look for a lure that's about 4 to 5 inches long, which is about the same size as the roach they're eating. Silver and white coloured lures they work well, as that's the same colour as the roach. The real key is to imitate the size and colour of the bait fish.
Here we go. It's a good fish, Zach.
Yeah. Whoa. Feels alright.
He's a good fish. Let's get this one in for you. I'm quite happy about that, mate. Another nice fish, yeah. A bit better than the one before. Let's let him go. Whoop, just lead him into there. Oh, he's a nice fish. Hey, nailed that jackal.
Yep.
Mate, he's a great fish. He's all of a kilo.
Yeah, we just picked him up probably 5 minutes after we got the last one, and just on a jackal, which is imitating a roach, and he really ripped it hard.
Well, Zach, there you go. I've picked that jackal,
Yeah.
and you can see the difference. If I grab this, look at that. And that's what we're trying to imitate. This is a fairly large jackal, so you can see how big the roach is compared to it. But that's a fine brown, mate. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a kilo. That's a good fish for Eildon. And on a jackal this time, which I'm pretty pleased about too, because I picked this lure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Key part to catching trout is to make sure your lure's at least 20 metres behind the back of the boat. I usually run a deep diver down short in the middle and 2 wide shallow diving minnows. I'd usually troll at about walking pace, but you can vary that during the day to see what's working best.
Another brownie. That average size that you need, buddy.
Yeah.
Look at that.
My favourite outfit for trolling for trout would be a 7-foot spin rod, 2 to 4 kilo with a 2500 size reel, 4-pound braid on that with a leader of about 4 to 6 pound.
Got him?
Yep.
Bit of weight on it. Oh yeah. That's good. That's a bit of solid fish. Well conditioned.
Yeah.
Let's get these lures in. How's that, mate? Oh, how's that, mate? Well, that's what you're after.
Beautiful.
Beautiful little Eildon brown. Well conditioned too. They'd be full of roach.
Yeah, I bet he is. I think we'll just put this guy back.
How good was that, mate? Yeah. Tell me something, Zach. You ever caught a fish with a bit of weed on your lure?
No, it just turns the fish off, I think, and they know something's up.
I'm a bit like that too. If you get a bit of a bump on your line, you might think it's a trout, but then again, it could be picking up a bit of weed. Always wind it in and check it. There we go. No, that was a fish. Here we go. Just taking that gulp minnow. Let's get this out of your way.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, it's thrown up a roach.
Yep.
Just grab this carefully. There we go. Now look at that. Put a 3-inch gulp minnow out there and he's nailed that.
The best time to catch roaching trout in Lake Eildon is around Easter time. From then on into the winter is really good. The key for the great trout fishing this season has been the rising water level, and now that the dam's full, all the bait fish are really thriving in these conditions, and the trout are really loving them. And when the fish are this active, it's not hard to catch fish if you use the techniques we've shown you. You just got to get out there and have a go.